Welcome to another deep dive, everybody. Today we're going to be exploring, it's actually an English language learning podcast conversation that you sent to me,
Oh, yeah.
all about the role of money in our lives.
Right.
And I found it fascinating how this video tackles such a complex topic, in a personal and conversational way.
Yeah, it's definitely not your typical financial advice podcast.
Right.
It's really like listening in on a group of friends,
Yeah.
discussing their own experiences and values
Yeah.
when it comes to money. And I think that actually leads to some pretty insightful observations.
Yeah, totally. Like right off the bat, there's this guy, Marco, and his story about having to put his studies on hold because of money problems.
Yeah.
It's kind of a tough reality check.
Yeah.
How often do we assume everyone has equal opportunities?
Right.
When that's just clearly not the case for a lot of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it really highlights the link between socioeconomic factors and access to education.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Marco's story isn't unique. The video mentions that 9 million people die each year from hunger-related issues.
Wow.
That's a child every 10 seconds.
Oh my gosh.
When you think about it that way, it really makes you realize that for a lot of people,
Yeah.
just basic survival eclipses any chance of pursuing higher education.
Yeah. It's a sobering thought, for sure.
It is.
But then the conversation kind of shifts to something a bit more hopeful.
Okay.
This whole idea that money can help you achieve your dreams, things like traveling or supporting your family. So what's your take on that? Is it really that simple?
Well, it's definitely a tool that can open doors.
Right.
But as the conversation points out, it's not a guarantee of happiness or success.
Right.
Take Elon Musk, for example.
Okay.
He's quoted in the video saying that college is more for fun than learning.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
That's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
I mean, is he right? Is traditional education becoming less valuable these days? What about people who don't have the means to just start their own businesses, like Musk did? What are your thoughts on the value of college these days?
Well, that's a great question. And it's something I think each person needs to evaluate on their own.
Okay.
I mean, Musk's perspective definitely reflects a certain privilege.
Right.
And it may not be applicable to everyone.
Right.
But it does raise an important point about the evolving nature of education.
Yeah.
And the different paths to success.
Absolutely. And speaking of different paths, the video then dives into something that always seems to be a hot topic.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
This love money dilemma.
Oh, yeah.
It features these two contrasting love stories. One where love seems to overcome financial struggles,
Okay.
and another where the pursuit of wealth leads to loneliness.
Right.
Really makes you wonder, how much does financial security matter in a relationship? Is there a right answer to that question?
I think those stories really highlight the complex dynamics between love and money. And I think the answer probably depends on individual values and also cultural context. The video might be reflecting a particular societal perspective.
Right.
But it's interesting to consider how these dynamics play out in different cultures around the world.
For sure. So what do you think? Do you think love could truly conquer all, even serious financial hardship?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that love can overcome anything.
Yeah.
But realistically, financial stress can put a huge strain on relationships.
Right.
And so it makes you wonder if a certain level of financial stability is actually a prerequisite for a healthy and lasting relationship.
I hear ya.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely a balancing act. It makes you think about, how important is that communication
Oh, absolutely.
about financial expectations and goals, for any couple, regardless of their current financial situation.
And it's not just about romantic relationships, right? The video also touches on how money can impact friendships.
Yeah.
And even family dynamics.
Yeah, like that point about financial well-being sometimes attracting fair weather friends.
Right.
Or creating complex family dynamics.
Exactly.
It makes you think, how does money or the lack of it shape how people treat us? Maybe even how we view ourselves.
That's a really insightful observation.
Yeah.
It challenges us to look beyond superficial judgments.
Right.
And to consider the deeper ways in which money can influence our perceptions and interactions with others.
Absolutely. And, this whole conversation reminds us that while money can provide a sense of security and open doors, it doesn't guarantee happiness.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, there's a really powerful quote in the video that stuck with me.
Oh, yeah.
It says, "Time is incredibly valuable as it is limited and cannot be renewed. We can only accomplish so much within the time we have." So what do you make of that?
Well, I think it really underscores the importance of prioritizing things that money can't buy. Things like health, meaningful relationships, personal growth, and just experiences that enrich our lives.
Yeah.
Money can be a tool to facilitate those things,
Sure.
but it shouldn't be the ultimate goal.
I love that. And, you know, it makes me think about this idea that it's not just about how much money you have, but how you use it.
Right.
It seems like the video is kind of pushing us to think about our values and how our financial choices align with those values. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that leads us to a really key question. What is money for? What role does it play in your life? And how can you use it to create a life that aligns with your values and brings you true fulfillment?
That's a question we all need to ask ourselves. And we've covered a lot of ground already.
Yeah, we have.
But there's still so much more to unpack.
Definitely. Yeah, it really is a question worth thinking about. And it's not just about attracting, those fair weather friends.
Right.
Financial success can actually bring its own set of pressures and expectations.
Oh, for sure.
All of a sudden, you might be the one that everyone's turning to.
Right.
For loans or, help with their finances.
Yeah, it's true. It's like money can shift those dynamics in relationships sometimes in ways that are kind of tough to navigate.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting how the video touches on, that desire to provide for your parents.
Yeah.
To buy them a house or a car. It's a beautiful sentiment.
Right.
But it also highlights how financial burdens can sometimes fall on younger generations.
Yeah, that's a really good point. It's like this clash between cultural expectations and economic realities.
Right.
And then, of course, there's that whole money and romance thing. The video shares those two contrasting love stories.
Right.
One where love seems to win out despite financial struggles, and the other where chasing wealth leads to regret and isolation.
Yeah.
It's like a classic tale.
It is.
But it brings up some serious questions.
Yeah.
How do you strike a balance between love and practicality when it comes to finances? Right. Is a certain level of financial stability essential for a relationship to really work?
Yeah, those are really good questions.
What do you think?
Well, I hear what you're saying about needing some level of financial stability.
Yeah.
But I'm also a bit of a romantic at heart.
Okay.
So part of me wants to believe that love can conquer all.
Okay.
Even if it means facing, some financial hurdles along the way.
I like that. I like that.
What do you think?
I don't know. It's tough. It really is tough.
It is.
But I think open and honest communication is key in any relationship.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to finances.
For sure.
Couples need to be on the same page.
Yeah.
About their expectations and their goal.
Right. And it's not just about couples either.
Right.
The video talks about how money troubles can cause rifts between friends.
Yeah.
And even tear families apart.
It's true.
It's a heavy thought.
It is. It is. But it's unfortunately a reality for a lot of people.
It is. Money can become a source of resentment and conflict.
Yeah.
Sometimes even to the point where relationships break down.
It's a reminder that as important as money is, it shouldn't come at the cost of our relationships with the people we care about.
That's true.
Speaking of things that are more valuable than money, the video talks about the importance of time. Yeah. And there's this quote in there. It says, "Time is incredibly valuable as it is limited and cannot be renewed. We can only accomplish so much within the time we have."
Wow. That's powerful.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, time is a finite resource.
It is.
Makes you think about how we spend our time.
Right.
And whether those choices actually reflect our true priorities.
That quote really hit home for me.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle of making money.
It is.
That we forget to spend time with loved ones or pursue the things that really light us up.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt that way?
Absolutely. It's something we all struggle with. In today's fast-paced world, it's important to be mindful of how we're spending our time and energy. Are we making choices that align with our values?
Yeah.
Or are we constantly chasing something that might not even bring us true happiness?
It all comes back to that fundamental question we were talking about before.
What's that?
What is money for?
Yeah.
Is it just about accumulating wealth and stuff? Or is it a tool to create a life of purpose and connection?
You've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where financial well-being supports the life we envision.
Okay.
Rather than dictating it.
I love that Financial well-being, supporting the life we want, not the other way around.
Right.
And it makes me think about that part of the video where they talk about spending money on experiences
Yeah.
versus material possessions.
Mm-hmm.
Like travel, for example, can open your mind to new cultures and create lasting memories.
Absolutely. There's definitely a difference between purchases that bring fleeting satisfaction and those that enrich our lives in a more meaningful way.
Right. What are your thoughts on that? Do you tend to prioritize experiences over possessions?
I've always valued experiences more than material things.
Okay.
I think it comes from my upbringing.
Okay.
We didn't have a lot of money growing up,
Okay.
so we learned to find joy in simple things and spending time together.
Yeah.
But this video has made me think about whether I need to be more mindful about financial security as I get older.
Okay. Interesting. How about you? Has this deep dive prompted any reflections on your own financial values?
It definitely has.
Ah.
It's reminded me of the importance of balance.
Okay.
Enjoying the fruits of our labor is important,
Mm-hmm.
but we also need to be aware of the potential pitfalls of constantly striving for more.
Right.
It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that happiness is just one purchase away.
Oh, it's so true. It's like we're always chasing that next thing, thinking it will finally bring us contentment.
Yeah.
But maybe true contentment comes from something deeper, something that money can't buy.
I think you're onto something there.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that true wealth encompasses so much more than just our net worth.
Yeah.
Our health, our relationships, our time. Those are the true riches in life.
Absolutely. And maybe money is best used as a tool to support those aspects of our lives.
Right.
Rather than letting it become the thing that defines us or drives our decisions.
Absolutely. It's about being intentional with our financial choices, aligning our spending with our values,
Right.
and making sure that money serves us, not the other way around.
That's a powerful message. And it brings us to a question I'd love to get your take on.
Okay.
The video suggests that time is our most valuable asset.
Okay.
If that's true, how can we use our time and our money to create a life that's rich in both meaning and well-being?
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's one that deserves careful consideration.
Okay.
It requires us to examine our priorities,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with ourselves about what truly matters,
Right.
and to make choices that reflect those values.
It's about finding that sweet spot where our financial well-being supports our deepest aspirations,
Yeah.
enabling us to live a life that feels both purposeful and fulfilling.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about remembering that true wealth encompasses so much more
Yes.
than just the numbers in our bank accounts.
I think that's
It's about the quality of our relationships, the depth of our experiences,
Yeah.
and the impact we make on the world around us.
That's so well said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is about so much more than just, the balance in our checkbook.
It is. This whole conversation's really got me thinking about how I want to use my time and money to create a life that feels, truly rich.
Yeah.
Not just financially, but in experiences, relationships, purpose, all of it.
I think that's a wonderful takeaway from this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's easy to get so caught up in the day-to-day and kind of lose sight of the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But this conversation really encourages us to step back
Yeah.
and consider what truly matters.
One of the things that really struck me was that emphasis on experiences over material possessions.
Right.
Travel in particular seemed to be like a recurring theme.
It did.
What role do you think experiences play in creating a life of meaning and well-being?
I think experiences can be incredibly enriching.
Yeah.
Especially when they push us outside of our comfort zones
Mm-hmm.
and expose us to new perspectives.
Right.
Think about it. When you travel, you encounter different cultures, you try new foods,
Right.
you see these incredible sights,
Yeah.
and you create these memories that last a lifetime.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the things you can't just, buy in a store.
You can't.
They shape who we are and how we see the world.
Right.
And they often involve connecting with people
Yes.
in really meaningful ways.
They do. And those connections, the relationships that we cultivate,
Yeah.
those are ultimately what give our lives, richness and depth.
Right.
Money can't buy genuine connection or love,
Right.
but it can sometimes facilitate those experiences that help us to build those bonds.
That makes me think about those two contrasting love stories from the video.
Oh, yeah.
One where love seems to prevail despite financial struggles.
Right.
And the other where chasing wealth leads to isolation.
Yeah.
It's like that classic tale of, two paths.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a good reminder that money can't guarantee happiness
No, it can't.
in our relationships.
Definitely not. Those stories are such powerful reminders
Yeah.
that our values and priorities really play a huge role in shaping our experiences with both money and relationships.
Right.
What might seem like a worthwhile trade-off for one person
Yeah.
could actually be a recipe for unhappiness for somebody else.
It really highlights the importance of just being self-aware
Yeah,
and understanding what truly matters to us,
absolutely.
both individually and in our relationships.
And it's about making those conscious choices that
Right.
align with those values.
Yeah.
If experiences and connections are what bring you joy, then maybe it makes sense to prioritize spending your time and money in ways that support those things.
Like investing in travel, spending time with loved ones, pursuing hobbies and activities that bring you fulfillment.
Exactly.
Right.
And, if financial security gives you peace of mind, then perhaps focusing on building, a really solid financial foundation makes sense for you.
Totally. It's not about judging one path as better than another.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all answer
Right.
when it comes to money and happiness.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
What matters is that we're intentional about our choices,
Yeah.
and that those choices reflect our own values and priorities.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's one key takeaway you'd like to leave our listener with?
I would say remember that money is a tool, a powerful one, but still just a tool.
Okay.
It can be used to create a life of meaning and purpose,
Yeah.
but it can also lead us astray if we're not careful.
Right.
So the key is to be mindful of our relationship with money and to make sure that it's serving us.
Yeah.
Not the other way around.
I love that. What a great way to sum things up. And, I would just add to that, don't be afraid to ask yourself those tough questions
Yeah.
about your values, your priorities, and how you want to use your time and your money to create a life that truly reflects who you are and what matters most to you.
Absolutely.
This deep dive has been an amazing exploration
Yes.
of the complex role that money plays in our lives.
Mhm.
And I hope it's given you some food for thought as you continue on your own journey.
Me too. Thanks for listening, everyone.